more of some Tekken 8. I didn't play this beta that much, honestly, so that's why I didn't have a full video up, but I decided to make one full video on this beta. You know, Spider-Man came out at the same time as this game, so I was just like, yeah, I'd rather play Spider-Man. Why? Because this is one of the most unplayable fighting games I've ever played. Like, I played this beta for about 4 hours, I would say. In those 4 hours, maybe an hour and a half of those matches were completely laggy or unplayable due to my opponent being on PC. Because if you don't know, for some reason, if you're on PC, your game will drop to about 30 to 20 FPS the entire match. I don't know how it happened. Yeah, I don't know how it happens, but obviously I'm on a console, and if I would play a PC opponent, their game, like, we would have a good match, we would rematch, and then that next match would be in 20 FPS the whole time. Like, I don't understand how this happens. I've never seen anything like this happen before. Now, your argument could be, it's a beta, you know? This is what this is for. However, I don't have that much faith in that argument because there was a beta 3 months ago. And I would argue that this beta is worse than the beta from 3 months ago. I've had worse problems trying to play people in this beta than the outdated one. And if you don't know, the game comes out in 3 months. So from now until the game's release is the same time period as this beta from the last one. About 3 months. And clearly they fixed nothing in the 3 months since the last beta. So that's very concerning because, like I said, I mean, yeah, I could have just been unlucky, but I would argue that this beta was in a worse state than the original beta. Like, it was so bad, it was to the point where I just played Spider-Man and I got a little bit of gameplay in for this game, you know. If you don't know, I played the first beta for about 23 hours. I played this beta for like 4. So, there's a difference right there. Here's what I will say though. My criticisms of the first beta was that the netcode was horrible, and it was one of the most unfun balanced games I've ever played. Like, the balance in the first beta was so unfun. It was just like the meta that the game was pointing to in that first beta was one of the most unlikable video games I have ever played in my life. It was pretty much just pop, heat, and chip damage your opponent to death, right? It was like, just attack them with everything you have and chip them to death, and if they try to fight back, you'll get a counter hit and murder them, right? That was the first beta. What I will say is that that has not happened to me at all in this beta. Again, I played this beta for like 1/6 of the time that I played the first beta, right? So maybe I just didn't play it enough, but I was not getting attacked and chipped to death by brain dead characters, right? This beta didn't feel anywhere near as brain dead as the original one did. And obviously I'm no Tekken god here, but I mean, the stuff you could get away with in the first beta was crazy. You know, and I don't know if they did any balance changes, right? I really don't know. It sure feels like they did though, and it feels way more of a game that is actually enjoyable to play, unlike the first beta. I mean, my review of the first beta was not good, you know, I did not like it at all. And I thought that this was the worst fighting game to be released in the modern era. I thought this was worse than guiltygearstrive. I thought this was worse than Mortal Kombat 1 and Street Fighter 6. But I can finally say that when it comes to the gameplay of this game, it's actually really fun. They really fixed a lot of the balancing issues, which obviously I knew they were gonna do. It's not like I was saying the game is just doomed to be a bad game, because it was an early beta, you know. So obviously they were gonna fix some stuff. But I didn't know like what they were going to fix, because the first beta pointed heavily to this game being about chip damage. Like they were pushing the chip damage. Like this is what the game is about. And it seems, again, I didn't play this beta that much, but it seems like chip damage is just not that important anymore. Like it still exists, but it's not the way to win, you know. So that's good. But obviously the netcode stuff has not been fixed, and arguably it got even worse. So, don't know how this is a problem in 2023. Mortal Kombat 1 has pretty bad netcode, and now Tekken 8 has even worse netcode than Mortal Kombat 1. So, like, what's the situation here? How did this happen? I had a match. I don't know if I still have the footage, but I have a match of me playing against a guy with 4-bar connection, and he was not on Wi-Fi. 4-bar connection, not on Wi-Fi. The match shot up to over 300 ping. For a 4-bar connection wired, it was over 300 ping. The whole match. And it was just, it was insane to me. Like, how is stuff like this happening, you know? Normally, when someone is on wired connection, the connection won't ever drop to a bad, to just unplayable states. I don't think I've ever seen that in a fighting game before. And somehow, 4-bar wired connection dropped to over 300 ping. How did that happen? So yeah, obviously they are probably... I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to say they're going to improve the netcode before the game comes out, because we've been dealing with this garbage for like 10 years now. Tekken 7's been out for like 10 years. I mean, obviously it was an arcade version, so it's really been out for like 6 years, but they never really fixed it. I mean, there were some improvements throughout the years, but I mean, here we are. This is a whole new game, next-gen exclusive, and it's running garbage, you know? So I'm not even gonna have hope and say they're gonna fix it, because we already know that these guys have been, like, really oddly, like, stubborn about their netcode. They've been really stubborn about the way they treat their netcode for some reason. And obviously, I know how rollback works, I know how netcode works, but I don't know how it works in a 3D game, right? So maybe it's just not the same thing. Maybe it isn't possible. I don't know. But what I do know is, I think Harada is incredibly... I don't want to put the whole blame on him, because obviously he doesn't single-handedly make the netcode of this game. But Harada and Michael Murray are incredibly ignorant when it comes to netcode. I mean, do you guys not remember what happened after the last beta? Everyone complained about the netcode after the last beta, and what did they do? They went on stage, right, and they talked about the data they gathered from the last beta. And what did they do? They blamed Wi-Fi players. What are you talking about? Like, hello? So, I mean, and obviously in the past, you know, the whole Harada incident with Tekken 7, rollback is 3, whatever it was, like, there's clearly a disconnect, right? Like, and it's really a shame to just see that it seems like they're taking their mindset into Tekken 8. Just judging by the fact that after the first beta ended, the first thing they did was blame Wi-Fi players, you know? And don't get me wrong, obviously Wi-Fi players are a problem, but no other game has ever done that. No other game says, yo, stop playing on Wi-Fi. Because a game like Street Fighter 6 and guiltygearstrive and dnfduel just have good netcode, right? Wi-Fi players can play those games, and it won't be that bad, really. I mean, obviously, you should really never play a fighting game seriously on Wi-Fi, but I mean, like, there's a problem when your netcode against wired opponents is worse than, like, Street Fighter 6's netcode against Wi-Fi opponents. Like, what are we doing here? I really do hope that the netcode is fixed, but, you know, I don't know if you guys remember, but, you know, Harada is, and just the Tekken team in general, I guess, is very stubborn about the netcode, and, you know, don't forget about that incident that happened after this beta, after the last beta, where they blamed the Wi-Fi players, right? So, yeah, very strange, very strange. But like I said, overall, I think the game is pretty fun now. At least because this character was so much fun. Like, this is absolutely my main character. She's really fun to play. So, you know, that combined with the new balance changes, it was just a really enjoyable game to play. But, unfortunately, most of the matches were unplayable. Like I said, I played it for about 4 hours, but I really only ended with a little bit under 2 hours of footage because of how unplayable the matches were. I didn't want to show matches. I mean, look at that. You see that? I mean, yeah, this guy's on Wi-Fi, but, like, what I can say is right here, this may have been the best Wi-Fi match I got all beta. So yeah, this is the best Wi-Fi match I probably got. I'm trying to think if there was another one. This was definitely up there as one of the best Wi-Fi matches I had, so yeah. I understand it's a beta, but, like, I think personally, you are delusional if you think that it's as easy as fixing the netcode when it comes to the Tekken team, because we know how stubborn they've been for years. And it seems like they're keeping that tradition, just judging by their reaction from the last beta, where instead of talking about how garbage their netcode is, they went on stage and had some charts and data talking about how many people play on Wi-Fi and how you should stop playing on Wi-Fi, and that's why the game's netcode's bad, because you're on Wi-Fi. Like, don't act like that didn't happen. You know, if you're sitting here thinking they're gonna fix it, don't act like we didn't all just see that happen live on stream in, like, what was it, like September that happened? Something. So, because it did happen. That was the first thing they did. But hopefully they'll fix the netcode. If they have any sense of a brain, they will fix the netcode. But we don't know. So yeah, I mean, look at this, dude. Oh my god. And yeah, I understand the guy's on Wi-Fi, but, like, this doesn't happen in other games. I mean, maybe in MK1, but this doesn't happen in other games. But yeah, you know, I kind of complained a lot in this video, but really it's just me being sick and tired. I gave them the benefit of the doubt the first beta because it was the very first early beta, but the game comes out in 3 months, and from the last beta 3 months ago, there have been 0 improvements made to the netcode of the game, and I would argue that it got even worse. And then obviously after the first beta, they went and blamed Wi-Fi players, really, and not themselves. So yeah, you bet I'm going to complain, because this game is going to be $100 if you want the DLC, or $70 if you just want the game. And you can't play it online in 2023. So yeah, I'm going to criticize everything I can possibly criticize. I did it with MK with their garbage microtransactions. And I'm gonna do it with Tekken with their garbage netcodes because the game is fun. That's the problem. It's not a game you just want to throw away. It's a game you actually do want to play, but you can't even play it in conditions like these. So anyways, you know, like, subscribe. I'll have more videos up eventually, whenever. But yeah, let me know if the netcode was good for you. Let me know if I was just unlucky. And yeah, peace.